What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I've got a special knife for you guys to check out that I just wanted to talk about for a few minutes. I saw this laying in my knife box and kind of almost forgot that I had this, and just wanted to share it with you guys. So this is the Benchmade Presidio, the original version, and this is the automatic. And this was my very first kind of higher end folding knife. I got this back in 2008. It was sort of standard issue in the Marine Corps back then when I served, and they sort of handed these out on my second deployment to my entire company, and they had like half and half the Benchmade Presidio and a lot of the large Gerber automatic knife. I think it's called the G06 or something like that. Don't quote me on it, but you guys know the one I'm talking about, the tactical Gerber automatic knife. I think they still make it today. But they basically had a bunch of those and a bunch of these, and you sort of got to pick which one you wanted. And I went with the Benchmade because I knew it was a kind of a higher end company than Gerber, and figured this one would serve me a little bit better. And I like the design better as well. I like the fact that it had this Axis style bar, and just Benchmade's reputation back then, especially in the military, was really, really good. They always stood behind us, and Gerber did too, don't get me wrong, but I guess Benchmade back then, I just looked at it as like the sort of the pinnacle of folding knives because I didn't really know anything about folding knives back then. But definitely glad that I got this, and as you guys can see, it's seen a whole hell of a lot of use over the years since then. I've owned this for 13 years roughly, and I haven't carried it or used it in many years at this point, so it probably saw, I don't know, probably a good 8 or 9 years worth of use, and is still going strong. I snapped the tip off of it. You can see where I was even regrinding spines back then to bring the tip back just because I don't know why, that's just the way I thought to do it back then. And you can see I didn't really care at all what it looked like when I did it, and you can look at the edge, the way I sharpened back then. Didn't really care what that looked like either. I just cared about fixing it and getting it back in my pocket. And that's sort of completely different to the way I approach repairing a knife nowadays, and the edges that I put on them. My freehand sharpening has really come along well in the past however many years I've been sharpening at this point. But yeah, so this knife is 154 cm with an automatic Axis style lock and a aluminum, I guess, anodized handle scale, and it's about the size of a paramilitary too. This one's a little bit shorter since I snapped the tip off of it, but definitely very similar in size. And you got Benchmade's standard 154 cm blade. You can see some Mel Pardue design and the national stock number there, which is the way that the government and the military organizes their any kind of parts or products that they purchase on a regular basis. They assign it a national stock number, and that's how you order something. You use that number through their system, and that's how you get it. So 154 cm drop point blade with a half serrated edge, and decently thin geometry on this, it feels like. Not sure how thin it was back then when I first got it, but still feels pretty thin behind the edge, even though you can tell it's been sharpened a whole lot. And sort of I guess a black oxide coating maybe, or just some type of durable paint, but definitely not a DLC coating, I don't believe, based on how easy it scratches off. But definitely love this design, even though it's really not a great looking knife necessarily. The ergonomics of it and the design of the blade served me well for many years, like I said, and I really have enjoyed, or did enjoy, using this back then, and I haven't carried it in a long time, but I definitely appreciate it, and it's a knife that I will never get rid of. I was contemplating possibly sending it in to Benchmade and having them redo it, but honestly I don't know if I should. I might just keep it like this forever, and just hold on to it as a keepsake from my time in the service, and my very first expensive folding knife. So looking at this lock for a minute, this is a really cool automatic Axis style lock. That's I'm pretty sure it's a patented locking mechanism apart from just the Axis lock itself, and it's pretty cool the way that they did it. It's got a sort of a large coil spring right there around the pivot that has a tab sticking out of each end of it. One of the tabs goes into the liner and the other one goes into the blade. So when you close it, it sort of coils up that spring, and then the Axis bar locks it in place, and then when you pull it back, it unleashes the blade and the coil spring flings it out, and that's how it works. And it also has a lock on the spine there, that little tab. You push it forward and it leans it down and sticks it right behind the Axis bar, so you can't open the knife if it's in your pocket. You don't want it to open on its own. So that's a pretty cool feature as well, especially if you're serving in the military and there's no telling what you're doing when this is in your pocket. You're running around, jumping, maybe doing all kinds of things. So definitely a good feature for this knife for tactical use, and just a really cool design that's really ergonomic, a really great blade shape, and a knife that I've thoroughly enjoyed owning and used for many years, as you guys can probably tell just by looking at it. And just wanted to share it with you guys, and I'm interested to hear your guys' story of what your very first expensive folding knife was, because this is the one for me that really sort of got me into knives in general. It took many years after this one for me to actually purchase an expensive folding knife of my own, but this definitely started the addiction brewing, if you will. And yeah, definitely love this model, and I may buy a new Presidio, the Presidio 2, or maybe the mini manual version, because I definitely still like this design and think they're still doing good things with it. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you guys later.